Lawmakers back on Capitol Hill after a week-long recess, and Senate Democrats are launching an effort to stop the Trump administration's $1.8 billion so-named anti-weaponization fund. So let's talk about it live to CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion on Capitol Hill. So what's the plan here?
Well, we're still waiting to find out. What we can tell you is that things are in limbo here in the Senate as lawmakers come back from that Memorial Day holiday recess. And you'll recall it was dismissed rather abruptly because we expected Senate Republicans to move forward on a party line bill to advance funding for ICE and Border Patrol. But in essence, it got held up by the introduction of this anti-weaponization fund. A lot of Republican senators had concerns about the fund, particularly whether anyone who assaulted law enforcement could potentially receive payouts from this fund. They met with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche before the recess to convey their concerns. And so now that they are coming back, at this point, I'm told that Senate Republicans are kind of waiting on a response from the Trump administration as to what they are going to do with respect to this fund, because Senate Republicans would like some guardrails in this. They were considering adding some guardrails to that reconciliation package. So that is where we find ourselves right now. Senate Democrats, however, are vowing to kill this fund altogether. And we reported earlier today that they are now launching a coordinated effort to try to stop this anti-weaponization fund, whether it is offering up amendments once this reconciliation package comes to the floor. And even today, we're seeing a trio of senators, Senators Schiff, Slotkin, and Kelly, introduce a new bill to block payouts from this fund and to prevent future abuses. Reid.
All right, we're seeing Senator Schiff's statement there on the screen right now. He says as Republicans return to Washington to provide further funding for this other mistaken priorities, we're going to hold them accountable. I want to pivot to another thing that we're watching, of course, and that is the Senate race in Maine. That's getting a lot of headlines today. Democratic candidate Graham Plattner could flip that Republican seat, but then there's the question of scandals. So how is this affecting the talk in Washington today?
Yeah, that's right. Well, obviously, this comes at a very critical time in this race with primary coming up. But, in essence, we saw a couple of months ago another Democratic candidate, Janet Mills, who was favored by Leader Schumer, was considered more of an establishment candidate. She dropped out of the race. So that really just leaves Graham Plattner as Democrats' best option to flip this seat. And so now that this sexting scandal has come out, it certainly is raising concerns about his ability to take on GOP incumbent Susan Collins. Now, granted, he was up in the polls, but this does raise a lot of questions about whether or not he can sustain this momentum in light of this scandal. So we will see how things play out. But at this point, this is a seat the Democrats were really hoping to flip. Now that may be in question in light of these new developments.
All right, Nikole Killion on Capitol Hill, thank you so much.